Greetings. I'm Jeff Donahue of the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Binghamton in Binghamton, New York. I welcome you to worship. All are welcome who come in peace, no matter who you are or whom you love. As Unitarian Universalists, we gather in the spirit of love, encouraging each other in the search for deeper meaning and a richer connection. I serve my congregation as a commissioned lay minister, often referred to as a CLM. I am also the co-chair of the CLM Council in the Central East region. Today's service is presented by several CLMs and a CLM candidate who is still pursuing her commissioning. CLMs are respected lay leaders who have decided to take their leadership to a higher level. We complete a multi-year program of study and experience that culminates in their congregation commissioning them and jointly defining their new role. My fellow worship leaders include Karen Carnahan, a CLM at Ginger Hill UU congregation in Slippery Rock, Pennsylvania. CLM Dr. Janice Marie Johnson of the Community Church of New York in New York City. Kathy Kearns, a CLM at the UU Church of Kent in Kent, Ohio. Susan Odeski serves the UU Fellowship of the Poconos in Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania as their CLM. And Barbara Walker, a CLM candidate at the West Shore UU Church in Cleveland, Ohio. Again, I welcome you.
Come in from the cold. Make yourself a religious home. If only for these brief moments, in spite of time, which shall soon bear us away from one another. Make this a family. Treat us as your own. Make us a religious family if only in this space, which we make sacred by our connections here and beyond. Come on in, make yourself at home, sing and love life.
All that we have ever loved and all that we have ever been stands with us on the brink of all that we aspire to create. A deeper peace, a larger love, a more embracing hope, a deeper joy in this life we share.
Joy by Corinne Avarice, illustrated by Isabel Fulleth. Sit here for Wren, with thanks to Felicity from the author, to Emily and Tim from the illustrator. Fern loved Nana. She loved her butterfly cakes, her mantelpiece mice, and her cat Snowball. Most of all, she loved her smile. But recently, Nana had stopped baking cakes. The mice were dusty, and Snowball was more like a ball of fuzz. Worst of all, Nana hardly ever smiled. "What's wrong with Nana?" Fern asked her mother. "I don't know," Mom replied. "It's like the joy has gone out of her life." "What's joy?" asked Fern. "Joy is what makes your heart happy and your eyes twinkle. Like when we all dance after dinner, or when I get the giggles with Ernie, or when I go whooshing down a slide. Yes, a great big whoosh," said Mom. Nana deserved some whoosh, thought Fern, and if the joy had gone out of Nana's life, then she would bring it back. But where would Fern find it, and how would she carry it to Nana? She searched the house for a catching kit. A can, a paper bag, a saucepan, a box with no lid, a lid with no box, a fishing net, and a pointy stick. Into Fern's catching bag it all went. That afternoon, Fern and her mother set off for the park. There would be plenty of joy there. No one would mind if she borrowed some for Nana. A puppy bounded toward Fern, its floppy ears flying up and down. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Fern giggled. She felt the whoosh of joy. She tried to catch the bounce, but the bounce wouldn't go into the box. On the swing, a baby chuckled each time her daddy tickled her feet. Tickle, tickle, chuckle, chuckle. Fern chuckled too. She felt the whoosh of joy. She tried to catch the chuckles. Then she tried to catch the tickles, but neither the chuckles nor the tickles would go in the can. When Fern reached the duck pond, a shimmer of sun sparkles rippled across the water. Fern smiled. She felt the whoosh of joy. Nana would love this, she thought. She tried to catch the sparkles, first with her fishing net, then with her paper bag, finally with a scoop from her saucepan. But the sparkles just disappeared. Finding joy was easy, but catching it was hard. Fern walked home with heavy feet. She loved Nana and wanted to bring joy back into her life, but her catching bag was empty. Nana was snoozing in her chair. Fern laid her head on her arm. What's the matter? Asked Nana. I wanted to catch some joy for you, but couldn't, said Fern sadly. Fern told Nana about all the things that she had seen. To Fern's surprise, Nana smiled. It was the biggest, widest whoosh of a smile Fern had ever seen. You don't need a can or a box or a net to bring me joy, Nana said. You bring me all the joy in the world just by being you. The next day, Fern took Nana to the park. Whoosh! Together they found joy in the most unusual places. And this time, Fern's catching bag was full to the brim with Nana's delicious butterfly cakes. The end.
Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Let all things living now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice, sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice. Let all things sing and rejoice. Let all things sing and now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice. Let all things let all things let all things let all things living now sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice. Sing and rejoice. Let all things let all things let all things let all things living now sing and rejoice.
It's winter now. The bright lights and jingle bells and glad songs of the holidays are fast fading into memory. And though the promised light will return a bit more day by day, the cold is with us, hard and strong, and there is still more dark than light. Even when a warm spell comes to tease us with its hint of spring, it is the cold that we believe, and the white and silent world shrouded in snow seems more real and true than patches of bare ground speaking to us of another season. Breathing our joys, breathing our sorrows. It is a time for turning inward, a time to feel the breath of our bodies flowing in and out, in tune with the cold breath of winter. Breathing in, breathing out as the wild wind moans and whistles in the trees and in the chimneys. Breathing in, breathing out. Quiet now, like the earth under a blanket of snow, not doing now, content to be, to wait, to rest, to gather strength for the time to come. Breathing in, breathing out, whispering our joys, whispering our sorrows. To all that is chaotic in us, let silence come. Let there be a stilling of the voices that have laid their claim on us, that have made their home in us, that go with us even to the holy places, but will not let us rest, will not let us hear our life with wholeness, or feel the grace that fashioned us. Breathing in, breathing out, let there be an opening into the quiet that lies beneath the chaos, where we find the peace we did not think possible and see what shimmers within the storm.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Wounds won't be closed, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Joy is a justice we give ourselves, by J. Drew Lanham. Joy is a justice we give ourselves. It is Maya's caged bird, sung free from the prison bars, holding spirits bound, without due process, without just cause. Joy is a steady run stream, right sprung up through moss, soft ground. Water seeping sweet, equally made clear from sea to shining sea, north to south, west to east. Joy is the truth, crooked lies hammered straight, whitewashed myths wiped away. Stone Mountain, just stone. Rushmore, no more. Give the eagles their mountains back. Joy is the paradise we can claim right here, right now. No vengeful gods craving power, no tenth in tithes to pay, no repenters cover charge, no dying required to get in. Joy is the sunrise, breaking through the night's remains, bright, shone new on a shell-wracked shore. A fresh tide scrub world redeems what was to is. Joy is on whimperel wings, the wedge in fast flight, wandering curlews, curved beaks, cries, stitching the world top to bottom. Joy is the soul stirred underneath of this journey. Gaze, snagged on wonder, not knowing their final destination. Blessed as witness, moored to ground. Worshipful tears dripped into grateful smile. Joy is the silent spring, unquiet. Rachel's world not come to pass. The season dripping right full of wood thrush song. Joy is all the blackbirds flock together, too many to count, too many to name, everyone different from the rest, swirling in singularity across amber-purpled sky. Joy is being loved up close for who we are. Joy is the last song drifting in as dark curtains fall, the sparrow's vespers offering. Whistle laid down in pine-templed woods, requiem in Mi minor. Church in a cathedral time built. No stained glass, no pulpit, altars everywhere. Just listen, just look. Joy is the return. The wandering warbler landed in the backyard again from who knows where to rest, to uplift the lagging spirits. Joy is the healing, broken down dreams recorded and restored, soaring. Langston's words, kettling higher on hopes, drifting ever upwards on ragged midline rhyme, dancing to syncopated verse. Joy is our life's mattering. Blackness respected, it is seeing my color, hue not blinded by privilege, the pious privilege of claiming you don't. Joy is the proper name, with no N in the beginning, or I, or double G, or E in the middle, with an R rolled hatefully hard at the end. Joy is your truth, being the same behind my back as to my face. Joy is the sharp eye, watching little brown sparrows, and the kind one, focused on the little brown children too. Joy is the ancestors come before, surviving the struggle, staying strong in the midst of the withering storm. From shackled ancestors, through Jim Crowed back doors, to gerrymandered chokehold now, still here in spite of it all. Joy is the payoff for those often down but never out. Joy is the thriving, a people who won't die in the midst of all this dying, the breaths, ins followed by outs, easy, without begging for air or asking your mama's ghost to help. Joy is the drive with no traffic stops, with no taillights out, with no tint technically too dark, with no speed traps, with no, yes, sir, officer, sir, no hands at 10 and 2, no wondering where the registration is. Joy is the flashing blue light passing by, not meant for me. Joy is the good news, without new dead names, no chokeholds or murdering knees, a night of sleep in your own bed, without shoes in the dark or shots in the dark, no more waking up full of lead. Joy is the morning jog without being hunted down. Joy is the loss we take to gain, monuments to traitors torn down, lost causes finally buried, never to be found again. Joy is the prairie, where billowed cloud and wild grass meet, where the hawks glide from there to here, wherever. Its own choice to make. No border crossing checks. Joy is the surrender to faith of push to trust and lift, giving over to Tony's command, to ride the air, to float above the trouble of this world on a wish. Joy is my grandma's hands, grits through gnarled fingers tossed on cold ground, to snowbirds she pitied, a love for others that became my own. Joy is all wild, not tamed, the rarest beast with talons sharp or long teeth bared in the faraway place. Joy is the wayward weed in the midtown sidewalk seam, the one I choose to call wildflower, because it dared not to be planted or to be controlled. Joy is at the end, a bruised, purpling sky, when the night comes again, when luck is metered by stars winking bright. Joy is the frogs calling, and plexus orgying delights. Joy is the close call that wasn't close enough. Death passed by you, life just stopping by. Joy is a heart still beating, even though what could have been wasn't. Joy is the knowing that what this world did not give, it cannot take away. Joy is the moment we grab in sweet-soaked, trembling hands that slides from possessions stolen legally in bits and pieces between yawning cracks of despair. Joy is tears, drops of salt water fallen in the creases of an upturned smile. Joy is the necessity that must be lain by, what's kept hoarded in a sturdy cache, ever ready to apply. Joy is the gift that just deserts what we deserve without asking or constant demands, that comfort that comes when no one else really cares. Joy is the reward, the salary already earned, back pay, with 4 centuries' interest compounded daily, at least 80 acres and 2 miles. Joy is the day off just because. Joy is the kiss of that one or the just verdict delivered by 12. Joy is the everything, the nothing, the simple, the complex. Joy is the silly, the serious, the trivial, the whale enormous, the shrew small. Joy is a murmuration, then the stillness. Joy is the inexplicable coincidence. Joy is what was meant to be, the mystery of impossibility happening, the assurance of uncertainty. Joy is my seeking, your being. It is mine for the taking and ours to share. More than enough to go around when it seems nowhere to be found. So, have yourself a heaping serving. Have seconds or thirds, because joy is the justice we must give ourselves.
There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace
The title of this worship service, Opening to Joy, speaks directly to me and my lifelong on-again, off-again relationship with joy. There have been times in my life where joy was in short supply, times where I, as a trial attorney, was willing to forego joy and replace it with other states of being, such as achieving and winning. I convinced myself that all this striving would ultimately bring me joy. On particularly dark days, I replaced joy altogether with just getting through the day or merely surviving. Of course, there were occasional times that were joyful, but I only allowed myself to experience joy in very small, measured doses. Achieving in life was my goal. Finding joy was also a goal, but a very distant second to achieving. I remember one day driving home from an extremely tense day in court, reliving the day in my mind and chastising myself for what I could have done better. Somewhere, traveling west through New Jersey to the Pocono Mountains, the sky opened up to allow a magnificent sunset to appear ahead of me. The kind of sunset with clouds of all varying shapes and sizes in a million shades of purples, blues, grays, pinks, oranges, and reds. The startling sight woke me out of my muddle of replayed thoughts. For just a moment, my mind cleared. I experienced the beauty, the wonder of that sunset. And, looking at that sky, an idea was slowly forming itself in my mind. I want more of that. That was 5 years ago. Now, I've since retired from practicing law. I started practicing Buddhist meditation, and I became a UU commissioned lay minister. I realize now in hindsight that my life change was largely motivated by a search for the kind of joy I experienced looking at that sunset. Now, this is not a Pollyanna story. My current life is not about joy all the time. There are still bills to pay, health challenges, and family stresses. But in the midst of it all, I am making more conscious decisions to place myself where there are opportunities to be open to joy. Through my Buddhist meditation practice, I've come to understand that we are hardwired as humans to focus on the negative much of the time. That served us well when we were cave dwellers who needed a fight, flight, or freeze response to protect us from giant woolly mammoths. We dwell much of the time in the lands of regret about the past or worry about the future. All of this ruminating can become how we live our lives. As poet and philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "A man is what he thinks about all day long." Now, I think back and realize that I have spent a good deal of my life bouncing back and forth between the past and the future, the vast majority of my thoughts tending toward the negative. I simply haven't made enough room for joy. Right now, I try to spend time whenever I catch myself and remember to, being in the present moment. I recognize that only there do I have a chance of finding joy. Of course, pain and suffering are also part of living in the present moment. But as I am learning, all present moments are impermanent. The joy unfortunately won't last, but neither will the suffering. Since all of life is impermanent, going forward in my life, I choose to stay present when I can and savor moments of joy when they arrive. For me, it's time spent in my lay ministry work with my congregation, the opportunity to be with loved ones and dear friends, a walk in nature, live music, a life-changing poem, or time spent in meditation. I fall short of the goal of remaining in the present moment on a daily basis, maybe an hourly basis, maybe a moment-by-moment basis. I get busy, I forget, I don't think to look at that sunset, but I keep coming back to one simple idea, keeping myself open to joy. My hope for each of you is that you may find more ways in your life to open to those moments of joy when they present themselves in your lives. Blessed be.
Can opening to joy be a spiritual practice? One that can enhance our well-being and our connections to something larger than ourselves? If joy is just happenstance, something that happens to us incidentally as a result of unexpected good fortune or a fun experience, then perhaps not. Then perhaps our opportunities to experience joy are at the mercy of the universe. Henry Nouwen would not agree with that perspective. He says, joy does not simply happen to us. We have to choose joy and keep choosing it every day. Choose joy. Might we have an intention for 2022, yet another year in which COVID is still in our midst, to choose joy? Tim Atkins says that every year he chooses one word to be the theme for his entire year. Tim says, even if you think New Year's resolutions are a little hokey, I encourage you to try this one word of the year idea. As a former skeptic, I can tell you if you take this seriously, it will change how you see your entire year. I wonder if this might be a good year to choose joy as a theme as we continue to adapt to our strange time and seek to embrace life with all of its possibilities. It could be a choice that enhances our well-being. Research suggests that when people experience positive emotions, they not only feel more alive, but are more resilient, feel more connected to others, and have a broader perspective that enhances their coping. Joy, like other emotions, is usually a fleeting experience, so Henry Nouwen is right. We have to keep choosing it every day. One way we can choose joy is by sharing it with others. In the story we heard earlier, Fern learns that she can't simply share joy with another by catching it in a box, but she can share joy by seeking out those activities that create feelings of joy and sharing those experiences with those she loves. Seeing puppies and laughing children at the park and eating a favorite food were sources of joy for Fern that she shared with her grandma. We might each add other experiences to this list of things that can create joy. For me, it would be spending time with my spouse, children, and friends, walking in nature, traveling to a new place, and reading an engaging book or watching a movie. Of course, life is not all joy, and we have plenty of moments when we feel sadness, anger, or frustration. The world can be a hard place. Opening to joy does not mean that we deny the hardness of life or our feelings of pain, or that we failed at those times when joy is elusive. Yet we can open to joy, allow ourselves to fully feel it when it is available to us. For 2022, a year that will no doubt bring each of us many different kinds of experiences, I wish all of you many moments of joy.
Caribbean poet Derek Walcott begins his poem, Love After Love, with the following. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger who was yourself. Open to joy, Walcott savors life with self-discovery. He embraces joy. I too embrace joy. And as a woman of the African diaspora, I also embrace the notion of Black joy. It is indeed Black joy that allows me to be happy in spite of relentless oppression and injustice. Joy certainly is a transcendent state of being. Compassion International reminds us that in choosing joy, there is hope. With joy, hardship offers growth and opportunity. With joy, self-esteem and self-respect are indestructible. GA, General Assembly, is our annual meeting of the Unitarian Universalist Association, the UUA. How many of you attended the 2008 GA in Fort Lauderdale? If so, you may well recall seeing or receiving caps, buttons, and such with the question, got hope or got joy? Those gifts from the River of Grass UU congregation riffed on the then popular marketing campaign, got milk? Those gifts truly elicited joy. Life is not easy. These past 2 pandemic years have taken their toll. COVID has hit us mightily, and we do not know what's in store for the future. Yet I ask, friends, how do you engage joy today? Stephanie Harrison, a positive psychologist, has identified 6 paths to joy. They resonate. 1, the joy of our senses. I love preparing and savoring a delightful meal. I also have a renewed, deep appreciation of music. 2, the joy of growth. I believe that joy can exist in the most difficult of times, sharing space with a plethora of emotions. 3, the joy of awe. My appreciation of the great mystery of life grows and grows through my love of my beloved UU faith. 4, the joy of relationship. I strive always to center the relational. 5, the joy of play. I share moments of sweet silliness and laughter with my granddaughter Simone. And 6, the joy of being yourself. There I strive to appreciate myself and to share the best of me with others. As Harrison notes, may we always joyify the ordinary parts of our day. May we always joyify the ordinary parts of our day. And at the end of his poem, Walcott says, sit, feast on your life. I believe that this is what joy calls us to do. We UUs can do this. Let's open ourselves to joy.
For today's offering, we invite you to donate either to the congregation of your choice or the UUA Disaster Relief Fund. Disasters impact our congregations and their communities with increasing rapidity. From natural disasters such as wildfires that relentlessly scorch the West, the tornadoes that have recently brought death and destruction to Kentucky, to human-caused disasters like the collapsing infrastructure that still haunts Flint, Michigan, your donation to the UUA Disaster Relief Fund allows the UUA to respond flexibly on your behalf to tragedies that overtake us. The fund is part of a covenant between the UUA and congregations, between congregations who give generously and those in need, and with our community partners. Any donation you can give will help others in a very real way and be received with gratitude. The link to the UUA Disaster Relief Fund is giving.uua.org/disaster-relief. That's giving.uua.org/disaster-relief. Thank you so much for your generosity.
This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this strength that I have, this strength that I have, this strength that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This strength that I have. Oh, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this love that I have, this love that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have. Oh, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this love that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Singing, the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. Oh, this pride that I have, this pride that I have, this pride that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This pride that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this pride that I have, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. All this peace that I have, oh, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give me my peace that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me.
Won't you sing about peace? This peace that I have. Oh yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. All this joy that I have, this joy that I have. This joy that I have. Oh yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This joy that I have. I said the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that this joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it away. The world didn't give it, the world can't take it away.
Resistance Revival Chorus believes in the words written by the poet Toy Derricott when she wrote, "Joy is an act of resistance." We believe in the words of Mr. Harry Belafonte, who said, "When the movement is strong, the music is strong." We sing to revive the hearts of those who fight for social justice, and we sing together for freedom.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Our benediction is from the Reverend Maureen Killeran. A close-up of hands playing the piano as we listen to the blessing of music. May we know this ending as more than a time of goodbye. May the warmth of this community and the memory of our chalice flame sustain our hearts and encourage our minds as we engage the blessings of life's challenges and joys. The service has ended. Your service has begun. Go in peace, go in joy, go in love.
Hello, you family. I'm going to sing a song with you called Shine on Me. It's an amazing spiritual that anybody can sing. And in these days when the things that we're dealing with, the feeling separate and all of that, and things seem so hard, this is one of those songs that you just throw your head back, put it in your medicine kit. All you have to do is ask. And here's how it goes. Shine on me, oh shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me, oh shine on me, yes shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Lift me up, oh, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up, oh, lift me up, yes, lift me up. Let the light from the lighthouse lift me up. Oh, hold me close. Yes, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse hold me close. Yes, hold me close. Oh, hold me close. Let the light from the lighthouse, please, hold me close. Oh, shine on me, shine on me. Yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. Oh, shine on me. Yes, shine on me. Let the light from the lighthouse shine on me. All you have to do is just ask. The light is always there. Always. Always. Love you.